Hey guys, we're almost to the end of Fake Mustache. Will Lenny Flynn and Jody O'Rodeo be able to stop Casper Bing before he takes over the entire United States? And maybe even the world? Let's see. Hey Jody, are you in there? Everybody's gone now. We both clambered out of our boxes and looked around. Lenny looked absolutely awful, completely coated in confetti that had stuck to the goo. I looked down and saw that I was too. I held up my hand, and for the first time I saw that the confetti was stamped with teeny gold letters. Congratulations, President Faco. Today the United States, tomorrow the world. We were in a pretty huge room, heaped with messy piles of boxes. I guess brainwashed football players aren't big on neatness. We're locked in, said Lenny, going over to the door and rattling the handle. It's a deadbolt. This must be where they store supplies and stuff during the football season. Maybe there are some nachos in here somewhere. I'm starving. If not, I do have some Pop-Tarts for you, I said, pointing to my crushed, mangled, goo-covered backpack. Thanks, but let's look around first, he said. We found more boxes full of confetti and some boxes with President Faco t-shirts and baseball caps and buttons and temporary tattoos and pom-poms. All of it had been made by the Heidelberg Novelty Company. Thankfully, there was also some bottled water with Faco's picture on the label. They said H2 Faco, but no nachos or other food. That must be stored in the stadium snack bars, I guess. We sat down next to each other in a box and drank some water and ate some smush Pop-Tarts. Lenny pulled a bag of pork rinds out of the pocket of his Wolfman sweater. I also have an edible eraser shaped like a chicken, he said, but let's save that as a last resort. Then we both just sat there quietly for a minute. Are you thinking what I'm thinking? I asked. What are you thinking? He asked, and he turned to look at me and our shoulders touched, and we were so close, and he had a look on his confetti-speckled face like he wanted to kiss me. But I really had to say what I had been thinking. How are we going to go to the bathroom? Oh, said Lenny. Well, I know it was bad timing, but who wants to have their first kiss at the same time their bladder is exploding? I guess we could take turns going behind some of these boxes over there, said Lenny. Okay, I said. I have got to go first. Don't look and don't listen. I went behind the biggest pile and looked for a good place to go. That wasn't too bad, I said when I got back. I peed on a bunch of I Love Faco sweatpants. Oh man, I need some ungooey pants. Sorry, too late now, I said. That about did it for the romance, I guess. We found a dry box of Faco sweatpants and some t-shirts with a picture of Faco's head on Mount Rushmore. We also found a box of Faco rally towels, so we were able to strip down and wipe the goo off ourselves, while hiding behind boxes, of course, before putting the new stuff on. It felt great to get out of my slimy clothes, but I felt a little bit weird about Lenny seeing me without my cowgirl stuff on. Lenny had destroyed my hat back at the factory, and now I had on an ugly t-shirt instead of my cool black cat jacket and sweatpants instead of my real cowgirl riding clothes. Without all that stuff, I looked just like a regular girl. I wasn't sure if he'd still like me. But then I had the surprise of seeing him without a cowgirl outfit or a werewolf costume for the first time. I'd been right. He was really cute. A little nerdier than I'd realized, but still cute. We just looked at each other for a minute. I guess we better start figuring out how to get out of here and save the world, huh? I said. Yeah, I guess so, replied Lenny. After about 30 seconds of messing with the door, we realized we'd never get out that way. We're locked in until someone opens the door in the morning, I said. And then that person will see us and lock the door on us again, Lenny said. We need a great plan. Half an hour later, when we gave up trying to think of a plan, we just started talking. Really talking. First was just about our lives and our families, and then it was secret stuff. This kind of stuff you don't tell anybody, except the right person. At one point, I was telling Lenny some stuff about being in Hollywood when I remembered the A-Team. Hey, you remember the guy on my show named Mr. Wallaby? You mean the Australian ghost who used to say, boo, mate? Right. Anyway, a long time ago, he was on this show called The A-Team. Not the movie, the TV show. And he told me once that in every episode, they would get locked in a garage by the bad guys, and they would use the stuff in the garage to make like a trash can tank or an old dishwasher that shot out flaming pickles or something. And when the bad guys came back, kablamo! Why were there pickles in a garage, and how did they light them on fire? Asked Lenny. I have no idea, but the thing is, they used stuff that the bad guys didn't realize would be dangerous. Maybe there's something like that in here. We rooted around in the boxes some more, looking for flammable pickles or whatever. The best thing we came up with was putting the water bottles in with the confetti. Maybe when they dropped the confetti, one of the water bottles would hit Faco on the head. I'm so tired. I can't tell if that's a good idea or not, Lenny said. I've been up forever. I've got to get some sleep. Yeah, that's a good idea, I replied. Earlier, I think we would have been bashful about the sleeping arrangements, but now we were both so tired that we just piled up some confetti into beds and went to sleep. I was having another one of my dreams where I'm back on the set in Hollywood. It's weird because the other actors are never the real actors from the show, and we never seem to get around to actually filming anything. And then, just when we're about to start, I wake up. Rise, shine, and save the world, Lenny said. I've heard some people going by outside. Nobody has tried the door yet, but somebody could open it at any second. We better get ready, and we've got to think of a plan. We've only got 24 hours until Election Day. Don't you think maybe somebody else has stopped him by now? I said, maybe the CIA or something. Maybe, Lenny replied, but I doubt it. I wish we knew what was going on out there. Don't you still have your cell phone? I asked. Yeah, but there's nobody to call. I know, but can't you check the news, weather, and horoscopes and stuff like that on it, I said. When the first headline came up, we both gasped in horror. Headline, Election Day changed to Monday. Why wait till Tuesday, said the front runner, Governor Faco Mustache. His top opponents have both agreed to the unprecedented change. I can't wait to vote for Faco, said Republican candidate Rhonda Horvath. Me neither, dude, said Democratic candidate William G. Murray. He rocks. I'm his biggest fan ever. No way. I'm his biggest fan ever, responded Horvath. Check out the Vote Faco temporary tattoo on my forehead. That's nothing, replied Murray, pointing to his own forehead. My tattoo's permanent. Polls open at 7 a.m. Massive voter turnout is expected. What time is it now? Lenny asked. I pointed to the time display on his cell phone. 7:12 a.m. So much for 24 hours, he said. We're already 12 minutes late. True, I said, but now I've got a plan. Put on one of every Faco thing you can find, I said. We are going to be his biggest fans ever. When someone opens this door, we start cheering and yelling, hooray, Faco, and we'll just tell them we wanted to get her early to get good seats. Wow, Jody, you are one amazing cowgirl, said Lenny, and I blushed like crazy. We started piling the stuff on, especially stuff that would help hide our faces, like Faco hoodies and sunglasses. Then we covered ourselves with buttons and stickers and stuff. We picked up some red, white, and blue Faco pom-poms and waited by the door, ready to start cheering when it opened. It didn't open. We sat down but stayed ready. It still didn't open. We started to get really hungry. We'd eaten all the Pop-Tarts and pork rinds the night before, so we shared the edible chicken-shaped eraser. It was delicious. Absolutely amazing. Lenny said that after this was all over, he was going to see if he could buy some more at Sven's Fair Price store. Finally, we heard footsteps. They stopped at the door. The lock clicked. The door opened, and there were the two football players who had unloaded us the day before. Who are you? Said the box dropper. I'm Faco's biggest fan, I yelled, jumping up and shaking the pom-poms, being careful to keep them in front of my face. No, yelled Lenny, I'm his biggest fan. Woo! No, me, squee! We hollered, dancing around the men. Yay, yelled Lenny, we're excited about politics and the democratic process. I hate cheerleaders, said the box dropper. They never pay any attention to the game. They just shout and giggle. Really, said the toilet paper guy? I've always found their positive energy to be positively contagious. Thanks, I said. Do you know where we can get in line? We want front row seats. Yeah, said Lenny, and we want to get our picture taken with Faco. Do you know where he is? I heard he's using our locker room down on the lower level. Try there, said toilet paper guy. But he's going to be giving his victory speech soon, so you better hurry. Victory speech? Lenny said, sounding a lot less like a fan. It's only 10:30 in the morning. Well, that's what the TV says, said toilet paper guy, pointing to a screen mounted on the wall nearby. Great, we'll go take a look. Yay, Faco, I said. Yippee, said Lenny, sounding like a very depressed cheerleader. We squeezed past the football players and were out of the storeroom at last. But we weren't free yet, and we still had no way of stopping Faco. A crowd was standing around the TV, watching Good Morning Hair Sprinkle. Let's take a look at our 3D holographic artificially intelligent electoral map, Jim. Do we have to, Nancy? The 3D holographs give me a headache. Yes, Jim, we must. It shows that Faco Mustachio has received 100% of the vote in all the states that have reported so far. Thanks to another brilliant idea of Fake Mustachios, the polls will be closing in about half an hour. After that, we'll be able to officially call the race in Fake Mustache's favor and then go have lunch. Truly an amazing story, Nancy. Just a few weeks ago, no one had even heard of Fake Mustachio. We all thought that a Republican or a Democrat would win. Yes, Jim, we were fools back then. We, the people, have seen the light. Our polls report that 100% of voters say that the minute they saw Mustachio for the first time, they knew that he and his mustache were right for our country. It really seems like a shame that we'll have to wait until Inauguration Day for Faco to become our supreme leader, Nancy. Jim, sources close to Capitol Hill tell me that Congress may make an emergency amendment to the Constitution so that Fake Mustachio could become president as early as next week. And not a moment too soon. Hooray, said the crowd in unison. Let's start selling some souvenirs. They all rushed into our storeroom, grabbed boxes, and ran down the hall to a souvenir stand where hundreds of people were lined up to buy Faco stuff. Man, look at all those people, I said. If we go out there, we'll never get near him, said Lenny. Let's try another door, I said. Okay, I'm not going to bore you by telling you about every lousy hallway and storeroom that we ran through and every stairway we went up and down. There were a lot. If they make this into a movie, they can just have a music montage of us running around really fast. We had one of those on just about every episode of my show. Then we saw a sign that said, locker room. There were a bunch of guys in black suits standing around the door. Secret Service agents. This must be it, I whispered. Let's go for it. Please, please, please let us see Faco. We just want a picture. Please, dude, let us in just for a second, please. Sure, go on in, kid, said an agent, and he opened the door for us. Holding our big number 1 fingers in front of our faces, we walked in. We had made it. Now all we had to do was grab the mustache and the whole thing would be over. Then Faco turned toward us and smiled. Ah, Lenny Jr. and Miss Rodeo. What a pleasure it is to see you again. Especially you, Jody. He was on to us. Go, shouted Lenny. We lunged for the mustache. The Secret Service agents grabbed us before we even got close. You, I shouted before someone put his hand over my mouth. Faco walked over and whispered to us. These guys are the real thing. Not even brainwashed. Just doing their job. Be careful. As he whispered, the mustache was so close to me, it was almost tickling my ear. I tried to get a hand free to grab it, but I couldn't. Oh, guys, we've got so much to talk about, Faco said. But could I trouble you to wait just a second? We all stood there and waited. Then came a roar, a tremendous a noise from way over our heads coming through layers and layers of concrete, a yelling and a stomping that went on for 3 or 4 minutes. Then it was gradually replaced by Faco, Faco, Faco. Well, that's that, said Faco. The TV just announced the closing of the polls. I'm the next president of the USA. He sat down in a folding chair and seemed to be thinking about things. Oh, I'm sorry, guys. I didn't mean to leave you there like that. Guards, I think you'll let these kids go. I think they understand that if they try to attack the duly elected president-elect, you will shoot to kill. And that if they say too many bad things about me, I'll have them tried for treason. The guards let us go. I made a move for Faco, but 2 Secret Service agents right behind me leveled their guns at me. What are you thinking, Mr. Rodeo, said Faco. These Secret Service guys will shoot you. And I don't want that. I want to be friends again. Maybe more than friends with you, Jody. Forget it, Lenny and I both shouted. That's hurtful. Listen, are you still hung up about the mustache? We're past that now. There's been an election. The people have voted. You stole their votes, I shouted. Don't you get it? Lenny yelled at the Secret Service guys. He stole the election. He cheated. Faco sighed. One of those sighs that adults make when they think kids are too stupid to explain something to. These officers aren't the Federal Election Commission, he said, with a smirk that showed he thought he was being funny. Look, guys, game over. You got some points here and there, but I won. It's over. It's history. It's literally going to be in the history books. I won. I'm in charge now. All I have to do is say the word and the CIA ships you off to Brownwater Base in Antarctica with all the other wackos who are in danger to this fine country. But I don't want to do that. I'm going to give you another option. Just admit that it's over. Admit that I'm the new president, and then I'll let you walk out the door. Lenny and I looked at each other. What could we do? I'll go up there and make my speech, and I'll tell everyone that you're not the evil one, Lenny. And I'll tell them that Jody Rodeo has been cleared of all suspicion. No one will ever bother you again. Lenny opened his mouth to say something, but Faco cut him off. Jody, Lenny, remember, I can't tolerate treason or threats against our democratic process. If you say anything other than, okay, Mr. President, you'll both be silenced and taken away. and that will be it. Okay, we both grunted. Okay, Mr. President, Faco insisted. Okay, Mr. President, we mumbled. Last chapter, coming soon.